morning, everyone, and welcome to today's Spotlight, which is brought to you by the Georgetown branch NAACP, where we are here to educate, motivate, and activate. I am here with my co host. We're going to go ahead and start with Miss Marilyn Hemingway. Good morning. Uh, you may have to mute yourself, Marilyn. And we have our first VP, Deontay Winchester. Good
What's up,
morning.
everybody? Good
And
morning.
Good morning. And President Neil, good morning.
Good morning, Ebony. How you doing?
Doing pretty good. We're on for a quick show today. I think that there's a lot going on this morning. Everyone is busy, but we wanted to come on to bring the community some valuable information that they need to know. So if you are here, please give us a thumbs up. Please post any questions or comments because you could be featured on today's spotlight. And we want to dive into those questions because we want to know what you think. But one of the first things that we want to talk about is going to be it's going to be so important for you to get involved and participate in our next event. And this one is an exciting one, one that I'm actually going to be helping with, and it's going to be the Predatory Lending and SNAP workshop. It's going to be held in Hemingway at Fishnet. Who knows about Fishnet? Their food is the
Oh yeah.
bomb. Yes. So we want you to come out and hear about predatory lending. Some people are in predatory lending situations, don't even realize it. So we want to, of course, educate you and bring you information about predatory lending and what you can do to either prevent it or some ways that you can learn about it so you can get out of it, hopefully. Um, and in addition to that, we're going to have um, Seven Dimensions and SC Thrive. We're going to have other local branches there, church, community members. Please come on out. And we're going to be, SC Thrive and Seven Dimensions are going to be talking about SNAP benefits and why it's important. Um, I think for a long time, people look at SNAP or having an EBT card or food stamp as a negative thing, and it is not. Um, we'll talk about why in many ways it's beneficial. It helps families, it helps seniors, it helps college students, and it even helps local business owners who want to participate if they are indeed selling some type of fresh food, fruits, vegetables, or meat that they can offer to the community. Mr. Neal, I know that you have been heavily involved, really at the state level, on the predatory lending and SNAP workshops. What can you tell us about it?
Well, Ebony, a lot of times we don't realize the benefits that's in our community and stuff that's available to us. That really, especially in times like this when food prices are so high and people are still struggling out of the pandemic and stuff. And what they're pushing is they're pushing for these programs in the community and organizations like Seven Dimensions, the NAACP, and those to actually collaborate to make sure we get the information out to the people. Because coming into Christmas season and holidays like this, predatory lending and it's really critical that people understand what they're getting themselves into. You could be paying up to 200% on borrowing money and stuff of that nature. It's just challenging when you're running from the back end once you sign these on the dotted line, not reading the small prints and stuff when we are doing business out there in the community. And vulnerability is here, and people will take advantage of, especially our seniors and those that's really struggling. So we don't need to take one pandemic to come out of it and create another one, a financial pandemic, which we're already in anyhow. But individually, we need to avoid that by coming to classes like this, the predatory lending and snaps. And the fishing is a great place to have it. They have the space there, great place to eat. And we're just going to bring the community together. Hemingway, Georgetown, Williamsburg County, King Street. We're just going to bring it all together. East Smith, great opportunity
Yep,
there.
absolutely. And what we are asking you to do, we are asking you to come out. If you are able to come out, bring a friend. Not only that, we are asking that if whether you can or cannot come, please share this information with people who you know. So if you would please let us know. Good morning, Miss Diane. I'm so happy that you're here. Um, so please share this information with anybody that you know so that they can come on out. Really, since tomorrow is Sunday, if you are part of a church congregation, tell them about it. Announce it in church tomorrow.
And Ebony, remind them about the QR code that's on the flyer also. The reasoning behind that.
Yes. So since if you're tuning in from Facebook, we're gonna have a separate post with this flyer only, so that you can either screenshot it and go to this QR code so that you can register in advance. And if you do, you get a free gift when you walk in the door. So please do that. Get this QR code. You can look for the post on Facebook. If you're watching us from YouTube, go ahead on over to the Facebook page. It's going to be the Georgetown NAACP Georgetown branch number 5520, and get that post so that you can register in advance. It's not required, but if you do, it helps us a lot to make sure we have enough food, and also so that you get that free gift whenever you walk in the door. So thank you.
Thank you, Ebony.
Yes. Matter of fact, Deontay, can you speak on real quick, as having the clinical background for behavioral health, how being in financial crunches affect people? I mean, it's a serious thing.
Well, it can affect us in all areas of life. When you going through any crisis, it'll affect you not only mentally and spiritually, but it can also affect you physically. We find that a lot of times individuals will begin to have health conditions, and current health conditions will deteriorate or get worse when there's significantly more stress that's introduced into their lives. So anybody who can and will, please attend this training, because financial literacy is definitely something that the community can use. Please come and support if you can.
Absolutely. I've heard of people having panic attacks because of being in financial hardships, and
Yeah.
you know it's crazy how something like that can affect you mentally and physically. So it's important. So come out to the predatory lending workshop. Now, the next thing that we want to talk about
Hey, one more
is
thing, Ebony. Also,
Mhm.
they might want to really just look at the crisis that we're in right now with housing and affordable housing. Not only that, the situation with housing just in Georgetown, just what we were doing, the eviction, the United Way and NAACP eviction crisis that we're dealing with and stuff. So all of those, when Deontay was talking about the mental health conditions, we have witnessed that over 300 and some families served over the last, 3 months now. So it's a lot going on there. So we got to be vigilant on what's really going around us and continue to try to push these type infrastructure. And one going right on to right now today in Andrews, under the Andrews clinic there on Main Street. So go out and get served, because the 16th of December, from what I understand, looking at the information that came out, it will no longer be serving the SC state funding program. So please go out and get served while the opportunity is there, and also at the 1001 Church Street in Georgetown, and the Johnsonville area with the Lydia's Nest. Go down and get served. Go to our website and tune in.
Absolutely. And we're gonna be continuing to talk about that. About the not only predatory lending and SNAP, but the housing issue. It affects people who have housing issues, and believe it or not, it's affecting people who don't have housing issues down the line. That's why we need to all go ahead and get our minds straight and try to help community as much as we can, because it's going to affect all of us.
Oh yeah.
We're going to be talking more even in the new year, as the new year comes in 2023, about the expansion of Medicaid. I want people to stop thinking that Medicaid is a bad thing, SNAP is a bad thing. I think that over time people have given it a bad connotation. But when we look at other first world countries, they may not call it that, but they have universal health care. That means every person is able to get health care and not have to pay very much for it and their medications. We live in a first world country where we have diabetics that can't afford insulin. And most of the time, these diabetics become that way because of poor eating habits. It's a vicious cycle, and it affects us all. So this is why, with all the things that we're talking about, these are all really systematic issues. All right. And as we move
Ebony, I don't want to
forward,
prolong this. I know we're trying to move on, but a lot of times when we look at issues like this,
This,
we look at
this spotlight. Come on over.
the individual,
You to say
but
something.
we have to also consider the whole dynamic of the family system. For example, I was working with a young lady who was having significant behavioral issues in school, um, to the point where they were trying to go ahead and recommend her for expulsion. Her grades had been going down. She was failing all but one course. And the school was basically going to wash their hands with her, put the young lady out, send her to alternative school or whatever. But when I started working with her, come to find out that she had been displaced from her home. She was sleeping with a
wow,
relative on the floor, and there was just a whole lot of things affecting that family. So
wow,
when we think about individuals who are in these situations, think about how everyone is affected by that. Everyone from top to bottom, including the children, including the other family members who may have to step in to lend an extra hand and take away from something that they may have needed that extra finances for. So please just if you can, do what you can to help, because it,
that's
it
right,
takes it takes a village.
Yeah, and I think
absolutely.
Maryland have witnessed that this week, and also you too, Deontay. And congratulations on your new position within the Georgetown County system here, school district system. That's going to play a major role in what you just talked about now, identifying those situations and cases that we really have to keep our eyes on. You know.
Absolutely. We're going to make a few announcements after this, but real quick, if we can just let the public know about the upcoming special election. So we thought that we were through, but in Georgetown, we actually have a special election going on. Let's talk about the importance of local election, Mr. Neal, if you would. Deontay, go ahead and jump in there. And I have a quick a guest that's going to talk for about 30 seconds here next about the housing issue. Go ahead, Mr. Neal.
Yeah, the special election really is a special election, especially for people of color. We have lost lost so many grounds in this last election, and we have an opportunity here in Georgetown to elect another woman of color into a nonpartisan position here at the City Council of Georgetown. And it's critical because of the challenges that they went through with job loss, the steel mill, tax hikes, electrical bills going up out of the ceiling, people challenged with trying to stay in their homes, gentrification. All that is going to play a definite role, economic problems with this election. So it's critical because the election has its consequences. And some of those are the situation that we're sitting in right now. We have to go back and look at why we are in the condition and the reason why election is necessary and why we have to get out and vote. And we have to get on the line, get out on the ground and push out the people of color to vote. We've lost the election of a young lady of color by 4 votes during this last election, which really is senseless to me. So we have to be careful, how we say our vote don't count, because every vote counts, and that's a proven statement. That might just been one household that just did not vote, that might have felt sick on the day of election. That's why the early voting is so critical, and to get it into the bank. And that's why our vote matters. And that's why everybody target the black vote and try to stop us from voting, because it does matter. And that election is on the
Absolutely.
27th of December in Georgetown, here in the city of Georgetown. So please get on the ground, knock on doors, get people out to vote, especially people of color. That's our job, to get out to vote in the areas where we are disenfranchised, and those dilapidated situation that's happened with our homes and everything else, housing, infrastructure issue, just a lack of affordable housing, all those. Gentrification is taking place. And be careful you put in these cheats, because that's where your challenges are. A good talk is one thing, but action is another. When someone take your public comment and put it on the bottom of the agenda of a city council meeting, the mayor did that with the city council presently there. You know, we need to look at those who voted on that and make sure you understand that they're telling you that your voice do not matter, because their decision is already made before you even got in it to make comment, and you have to sit 2 and 3 hours to make a comment. That is voter suppression. That suppresses the voice of those that's out there to be served by these folks that you put in office.
Thank you, Mr. Neal. And I can't stress it enough. It's not really much we can say other than if you live in the city of Georgetown, you need to be there December the 27th. Now, notice when they actually scheduled this, December 27th, 2 days after Christmas time, when people may be out of town, and just may not even be thinking about that. Why would you schedule it during that time? But they have. Do not let this pass you by. I'm not sure, to be honest with you, about if they can vote any earlier, but more information is to come. Please go out and vote, because we have seen where power without standards equal corruption. This is why we are still dealing with the impact of January 6th insurrection, and we have a former president who was actually part of this mess to corrupt the election process, who is literally have announced that he's about to run again. That's where we have to address these systematic issues. That's why we have to get out and vote, no matter what it takes. Do what you can to spread the word to everybody who you can about this special election.
And Ebony, I'd like to remind people that there is a lawsuit that was filed by the NAACP Georgetown, the South Carolina State Conference of the NAACP, on racial injustice that happened with affordable housing here on the discriminatory zoning in Georgetown County on the Wedgefield project, that Porter Landing project. You know, Georgetown's going to be sued. The suit has been filed, and we're going to move forward with it. You know, and it's a very strong suit, and we're going to support it. We have won just by filing it, because we need to send a strong message to those elected officials that said no to affordable housing because of racism and discriminatory practices that they have done here in Georgetown on that 90-unit project. That you have police officers, school board members, you have folks in the school system, fire department, I mean, bus drivers, all those need homes to stay in. We are losing employees in a rotational base because of the lack of affordable housing. That's what we are talking about here. So, and this suit is filed, and we're going to move forward with it, you know, and be careful and look at those folks who said no to affordable housing. Vote them out, because they do not have the interests of those that live in Georgetown at heart. Vote them out. Color has no presence when it comes down to injustice.
Absolutely. Now, as we close out, are there any announcements that we need to talk about as we?
There's one for those. We have a redistricting lawsuit that's going to be closed out in Charleston on the 29th, the Charleston Federal Courthouse on 85 Broad Street. We are asking everyone of color, people of color, to show up at that closing to make sure you understand what the process looked like and how we fight as NAACP and the ACLUs and those other organizations that comes in with us. Make sure you show up there at 9 o'clock that morning. That will be something you won't see again for the next 10 years. So you make sure you show up so you see what we do as NAACP members, especially NAACP members and executive committee members. Show up at that 85 Broad Street on the 29th of December at 9 o'clock in the morning, and you will see something, history in the making. That's all I have there.
All right, and the Gullah Tours and Experiences in Georgetown will have their ribbon cutting ceremony. It will be put on by the Gullah Geechee Chamber, who will be hosting it. The vendors will be there to showcase their crafts, their arts. There'll be discounted Gullah tours. Come on out to 123 King Street in Georgetown. That is Unit 5, but we'll have food, refreshments. We are so excited about that. So please come on November the 22nd. All right, that's this coming Tuesday at 11 to 1 o'clock p.m. Thank you so much for you all who have joined today's Spotlight, which is
Ebony,
hosted
one
by
more
the...
thing. Deontay, the drop-in for the installation of new officers. That's on December 27th, am I correct?
22nd.
22nd. December 22nd at 6 o'clock p.m. at the Howard Center.
All right. Remember, we're stronger together. Thank you for joining today's Spotlight, which is brought to you by Georgetown Branch NAACP, where we are here to educate, motivate, and activate. Please remember to share this information with your friends, family, and community. Give us a thumbs up. If you're watching us from YouTube, please hit the subscribe button and the bell notification so that you will be notified of our next show. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Deontay, tell everybody to love themselves.
Hey, we love you all. Continue to love yourselves. Take care.